15 years ago. We went through a very dark storm as a family. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Even ministry. It was crazy. I had 30 ministers. One time they were reduced to 3 in terms of their effectiveness. In terms of house, we almost lost our house. I mean, not that we were defaulting in our mortgage, but in terms of, we should have gained like 300,000, 200,000 pounds in profit. We built a house. At the end of the day, by the time God told me, I want you to live here just for 1 year, I didn't hear a word. I was enjoying the house. I stayed there for 2 extra years. When you are a Jonah, the whale will eat you. The economic crisis that started in America came and hit us, and I was looking at the profit in my property. Have you ever looked at property and say, yeah, I have 200K inside here? You know what I mean? Who knows what I'm talking about? When I didn't sell when I should have sold, you know what? God just saved me. That when we sold it, we left with 5,000 pounds. As in, that's the profit that came. But God said, I just gave you even that one because you should have lost even more. My friend lost 60,000 pounds in that crisis. And what am I saying to you? I mean, I said everything that could go wrong, you don't even want to know, on almost all fronts. But the long story short is this. It was a season of about 2.5 years of serious darkness. And somebody had a dream, one of my spiritual daughters. And she said, Pastor, I saw you. And it was like as though she actually used to live near my house then. And she said, I saw you going on a morning walk and you were wearing pajamas when everybody else was going to work. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, when we were expecting somebody to go, but you were actually wearing pajamas when everybody else was going to work. And he says, and it was dark. So I went back and I said, Lord, what does that mean? He said, well, he says, the season has changed, but you are still in the old clothes. And then the Lord told me, he says, pray for the prolonged night that the enemy has been trying to keep you under. Does that make sense? Where everybody is, the Bible says that weeping may endure for what? A night. But joy comes what? In the morning. So when I was in the morning, but I was still dressed like I was in the night. And so what the Lord was telling me is that the enemy was trying to keep me in a prolonged night season. And there's somebody here, your season of change is here. And that shift is here tonight. You are breaking out. You are coming out of it. Whatever has tried to keep you in that old season of lack, you are breaking out. Tell your neighbor, say, I'm breaking out. So, I looked at it and began to speak with the Lord, and I said, what are the things that will make somebody's night season be prolonged? Would you like to know? Well, there's a lot, but I will just share 3 with you. The first is that there is a root cause. There is something that is causing the enemy to allow darkness. Does that make sense? Okay. Where's the lady who I asked about the dream catcher? Okay. So, so that you will know what dream catchers are about. When we started coming for Breakthrough Night in Houston, we had a different crop. We've had and there was this couple. We had a what you call like a house fellowship, and on the Sunday I met with all the people of our team, as it were. And this couple the husband came to me and said, Pastor, you need to pray for me. In my mind, everybody wanted me to pray for. Everybody wanted. I just use system. So after they feel, because you won't come and kill somebody, you know what I mean? So I just said, I said, you know what? I said, okay, everybody, I'm going to pray only for the children. And then all the children came out. And as I laid hands on one child, I said, I see this child in the hospital, blah, 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 blah. He said, that couple who said they wanted me to pray with them, said that's their child. And that he had his cancer or something. I said something memorial. There's a hospital like that in this, something memorial. He said, yes, he was in the whatever, and he was in the, so I said, I can't run now. That means I have to. And then, as I was praying for the boy, I then said, do you have a connection with some in India or something like that? They said, yeah. The husband was from Haiti, the wife was from Puerto Rico. Yeah. He said, the wife said, yes, my roots, so and so. I said, I see an Indian dream catcher. He said, yes. When we were moving to Houston 3 years ago, her cousin gave them dream catcher. Dream catcher. Dream catcher is like an artifact. Yeah. And they believe that, when you put it on the wall, it will catch dreams. Your dreams will come to pass. How can a Christian be using dream catcher? You think it's decoration, you are inviting demonic spirits. The gentleman now told me, he said, Pastor, I wanted you to pray for, in fact, he told me just before as I was coming, he said, I need you to pray for my wife and myself. So, my wife hasn't gotten a job since we came to this city 3 years ago. And then everything goes wrong. Car breakdown, child ill, this and that. And I said, no problem, I will pray. I said, but you know what? The Lord showed me what your problem is, the dream catcher in your house. I said, I want you to, when you go home, go and burn that thing. And I need you to send me the photograph of the thing burning. They sent it to me. Will you believe it? They burnt this thing on Sunday. The gentleman had 3 job interviews. He did the first one on Monday, he got the job. Did the second one, got the job. Did the third one, the wife rather, who had been unemployed for the 2 or 3 years. She did the first one, got the job. Second one, got the job. Third one, got the job. The husband on the 4th day got promotion at work. They increased the salary. By the Friday, they bought a new car. Weeping might have endured for a night. Here in this same Houston, under this same climate, God will create a Goshen through this church. The covering of this church is going to provide prosperity for somebody. God sent us here as a Joseph to create an air-conditioned room in the midst of the heat. I decree and declare all those who are under the sound of my voice, who connect with this ministry, and those who will begin to come to this house, I decree and declare your season of change is here.